They've battled it out for 9 rounds across the globe in all conditions. For one of these 3 men, Rallycross immortality beckons. Who will scale new heights in World RX? It's the showdown in Cape Town.
Well, hello and welcome to the final day of the World Rallycross Championship 2019 and things are hotting up. You can see Table Mountain and Lion's Head over there. We are in Cape Town, South Africa, and this is qualifying 4. Thanks for joining us. Apologies, we are aware that there were technical issues with the stream earlier, but we'll bring you up to speed with what happened in qualifying 3. And just so you know, we are no closer to knowing who will be the new World Rallycross champion because it's still very, very tight at the top. But we do know that by 4 o'clock local time today, we will have a new champion. So let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. Earlier on, it was a little bit chilly, but it's warming up now. I think it's about 25 degrees, but track temperature, it's about 38 now, 39, so it's getting hotter, which means tyre wear. The cars are beginning to gather ready for qualifying 4, the final deciding qualifying session. Let's have a word with the boss of Rallycross, Paul Bellamy. Lovely to see you. First of all, when the season started back in April, could you imagine it would have been this close come the final day?
Not this close, no. Not coming into South Africa with 1 point between Andreas and Timmy. As a promoter, it's everything you dream of, being that close, and it's going to go down to the wire here.
It's really exciting. I mean, there is a genuine sense among all the competitors and everyone who works in this championship, and I'm sure many of the fans at home, that this is just the closest we've ever seen. It
is, and I'm not sure there are many World Championships that are this close. This is going to go down to the last race, and with 1 point in it, it's perfect for the fans at home. Even a few ex-drivers I was speaking to this week on the phone saying this is the best season we've ever seen in Rallycross, and we can't wait to get in front of the TV, on Sunday to see what happens, and I'm the same.
Yeah, so we'll be watching it unfold very shortly. It's great to be in Cape Town again at the end of the season, and I understand we'll be coming here for a few more years.
Yeah, we've worked with the city of Cape Town and our new promoter down here as well, World Sport, and they've all been really, really supportive, and we're delighted that we can extend our stay down here. So we're here for another 3 years. It's become a mainstay of the championship, and also finishing the season in a city like this is fantastic.
It's such iconic, the red dust. It's very, very Africa. Talking of the future, the season 2020, the calendar was released last week. It looks very good. What can you tell us about that and maybe about Project E?
Yeah, I mean, next, as we go into 2020, it's a really exciting year and peripheral for the championship, because Project E, our electric introduction to Rallycross, is really key for us going into next year. And then we've got the World Championship on top. We've got 11 events in the calendar. 2 we're still working on to finalise the contracts. One's a new venue, one's an existing one. We've got our new venue in Germany as well. So we're going into next year really excited. We haven't finished this season yet, but I think we won't have as much turbulence, if you like, going through this winter as we had last winter.
Now, I know it's going to put you in a difficult position, but we are going to have a brand new champion, because, of course, we've had Petter Solberg, Matthias Ekström and Jan Kristoffersen. None of them are here. We're going to have a new champion. Do you have any guess or a bet as to who it's going to be?
Well, I suspect it'll be one of 3. So it'll be Kevin, Timmy or Andreas. But, also we're going to have a new winner of Cape Town. Johan won here the last 2 seasons. So everything's going to be new this afternoon. So I just want to see the best racing out there.
Yeah, us too. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thanks, Neil.
Get yourself glued to the screens over there as you are home. So should we send you back up to Andrew Coley and Dan Rook to talk you through qualifying 3? Let's do that.
So yeah, sorry about Q3, guys. If you were watching at home, and say we are aware of the issues, it was an issue this end. The show is intact, it just didn't make it to you. So they're actually working hard now on uploading the whole of Q3 to YouTube exactly as it was, the whole stream. You'll be able to watch it in high quality at home, so you'll be able to see the laps that were put in. We don't want to spoil it too much for you, but here's a look back at the review of Q3. So the big news was that the RX Cartel pulled out Liam Dorr, and it was a very clever tactical move because it put Andreas Baccarin in a race with drivers who he should have been able to beat. He had to get the job done, and he did, and in some style. He got the whole shot, got the car out front, set the 3 fastest laps of the weekend to go fastest at the end of his race. In the background, there was some decent racing with Bennett, and I think that was Cyril Raymond. It was going past. But Baccarin, look at this, said it was absolutely 100%, except for the hairpin, he said, which he declared was 92%, so very, very specific. Good job by Backward. Now it was down to Kevin Hansen and Timmy Hansen. Now look at this contact on the run to turn 1. We were nervous about Kaliakowski and Balmanis hitting each other. Luckily, tag for Sabo, no effect on the 2 World Championship front runners. So Timmy Hansen, Kevin Hansen got a little nudge from behind by Balmanis. Timmy then set about taking apart Andreas' lap times. Just a couple of tenths here and there, but he went faster on every single lap. Into the Joker lap then, he did a particularly special Joker lap too, and Timmy Hansen did the fastest time of the weekend. Backward had just done it in the previous race, and Timmy Hansen I think went 1.9 seconds faster. It was a brilliant drive. Kevin Hansen missed out on Backward's time by 0.2 of a second. Now you're not seeing the first start here from race 3. Niklas Gronholm jumped at the start, which was a disaster because you can see behind him plenty of carnage going on. Niklas just makes it through turn 2 untagged, and then he was flying at the front. His lap times were pretty much the same as Timmy Hansen's, but with that extra Joker lap, Gronholm was always going to struggle to match the guys who were out at the front. Look what was happening behind. So you know, Scheider, Timosyanov, Mark, they all might have been able to match those times, but unfortunately for them, they just got stuck into too much racing. Derrida did another good job, and Derrida might make it through to the semi-finals. Mistake from Scheider in the last corner. Niklas Gronholm, despite a double Joker, went fast enough to get P4 in the session. So Timmy Hansen at the top of the table with 2 qualifying session wins. We've then got Niklas Gronholm in 2nd with a win in Q2. Backward moves up to 3rd place. Kevin Hansen is in 4th. So as you can see, our 3 championship contenders in the top 4 slots with Niklas Gronholm in the mix as well. So if you look at it at the moment, it will be Timmy Hansen and Andreas Backward in semi-final number 1, and Niklas Gronholm and Kevin Hansen in semi-final number 2. Look at the points down the side. It's pretty likely to stay that way because you can't really, you know, I suppose Timmy and Niklas could swap places, but I don't know. What do you think, Dan? Niklas has been quick.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely been quick, and now they're going into qualifying for all in the same race, so it's going to come down to that one. Yeah,
good point. Very good point indeed. They're actually going to race for it on track and see what happens. I'm trying to think of the difference. So Doran, look at the bottom of the page in case you're wondering with those. Of course, he had a non-start in Q1. They pulled him out of Q3. Q2, he had a broken drive shaft. So Doran is not going to make the semis, so he can't help out his teammate Andreas Backward. So that's a shame for Monster Energy RX Cartel. And when we say help out, Liam is a great competitor. I don't think he would ever have done anything untoward, but what he could have done is he could have gone and, you know, got in front of the guys in the start. He could have held them up on a Joker lap merge. All of those things are well within the rights of racing. I feel sorry for Liam, to be honest, because he's come down to help his teammate out, Dan, and also to have a great race weekend. This is a track he drove on last year, and we've watched him through turn 3. He's been mega, and he's had nothing this weekend. So I'm glad to see he's actually going to be out in this session.
Yeah, it'll be really good to see what he can deliver, and you can see him there in your picture left of the screen. That's the man we're talking about, just pulling up onto grid slot now.
So Doran heading up to load up the first grid of Q4. Big old crowd down here watching today. The last day of the 2019 FIA World Rallycross Championship. Of course, this is the last qualifying session this year, and then we've just got the 2 semi-finals and 2 finals to come. RX2 International Series will follow this qualifying session directly, and if Ollie Eriksson, well, we're pretty sure he's tied the title up already, but he's never going to celebrate until he actually gets given the points, which will happen at the end of Q4. So Eriksson should win that title. There's a question mark over whether or not Kallio can hold on to a position. We think if he could potentially hold on to 3rd place, even if he doesn't make it through to the semi-finals. And at the minute, it looks like he's not going to unless somebody gives up a place for him. So that's all about RX2. These guys, Ollie Bennett is in 13th place at the minute, and he's only 5 points off the back of Kaliakowski, who's in the same race as him. So he'd like to see whether or not he could get through to the semis. But I think it's going to be a tough one for him. Liam Doran on the inside is just looking, I think, here, basically. Yeah, this is Liam's advert for next year. We know they're in discussions about next year already, about you know, whether or not they continue as a team, what they do. You've got to remember all these guys worked so hard over the winter to get their teams together and to get to the grid. Yeah, they're all starting to talk about where do they want to be next year. You know, what cars do they want to be using, who do they want to be driving for. We've seen some amazing performances. And silly season's delayed, really, isn't it, Dan, because of the fact the World Championship fight's still going on?
Yeah, there's too much for these guys to be thinking about, to be looking at next year as it stands, isn't it?
Very much. practice start for Liam. So Liam, it was an engine in free practice which kept him out in Q1, and then he broke a drive shaft off the line in Q2 from the same grid slot as this, I think. Q3, as I say, the team pulled him out. They said there was a technical issue, which is what they're entitled to do, as we discussed. And that meant that we had three 5-car races instead of the 4 4-car races that we're going to have now in Q4. Time to get the last qualifying session of 2019 underway. Q4 race 1. Matvey Farashkin on the inside, Ollie Bennett, Jari Kaliakowski and Liam Doran. Doran's got new boots on. Go on, Liam, get in.
I'm expecting big send from Liam.
Yeah, I am. Well, I kind of like to see what lap times he can do. Just get stuck in. You know, this is a track I think that suits him. He's brilliant at the transitions. I say I'm sorry for him that he's had such a shocking weekend. But do you know what? He helped his team out in a different way by pulling out of Q3. Yes, Backrud didn't win it, but it has put him right back in the mix. He's dragged Backrud up from 5th or 6th into the top 4 again on the front row. That is a very long hole, but it's a great start by Liam Doran on the outside. He's going to reach Kaliakowski. Kaliakowski moves across. Farashkin's on the inside. Doran, though, shuts the door. From slot 4 into slot 1. Ollie Bennett going to try and go around the outside. Runs a bit wide. Farashkin up the inside of Kaliakowski. Doran into the right. He'll flick the car around to the left. Look at this over the jump. He's absolutely sideways on the corner before Farashkin too. And he's gapped him already. Kaliakowski looks up the inside of Farashkin. Farashkin drops one wheel on the brakes. Just about holds on to it. Bennett's in the back of the pack, but Doran out front. Come on, Liam.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was actually watching out of our commentary position for him going through the right and left here, turn 2 and 3, and the car was broad sideways facing us, and it's a great image that we have out of our window. We're quite fortunate with the view we've got, aren't we?
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. There's a great big light gantry out there, which I've seen some of the photographers have mounted cameras up there. I'm going to have a word and see if we can get one up there, because you see the transition beautifully between the 2 corners. Doran again flicks it from one way to the other. There you're getting a little bit of a better idea. We'll see if we can get in on that and show you. It just appears absolutely broadside. For me, Liam's got Petter-like car control, Dan. We've seen him do some brilliant stuff over the years, and again here this weekend. Yeah,
he's been awesome. I think he was actually the original around the outside person in Estering.
He was, yeah. He backed it in the C4, didn't he?
Yeah.
But when I say backed it in, he really did, yeah. It was, he's a weapon. He really is. So Kaliakowski is ahead of Bennett, which should see him hold on to his spot in the semi-finals. Cyril Raymond was DQ'd, of course, for track markers. If you saw the last session, I know, say some of you we know didn't, Kevin Hansen was given a warning for track markers, but the stewards have cancelled that warning. Fair enough, they've looked back at it, and that's what we like, actually. We don't want it to be, oh, you hit it, it's done. You know, if you can go, no, hang on a minute, I was pushed into it, then the warning should be removed, because it's not your fault, and that's what we're seeing this weekend. Kaliakowski, full sideways, straightens it up just before the apex. Bennett looks into the back of Farashkin. Farashkin's got a problem, so Matvey Farashkin is going to end his World RX year. Parked down at the hairpin. Liam Doran. Liam's been quite sendy on this run down. And look at the lap times, 41.6, 41.6, 41.0. And the track is definitely different. Look at that. Look at that. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's the view that we've been able to see from the window. It's awesome to see in person. He is definitely on a big push. But
you can hear with the throttle movements how hard he's trying.
Yeah, I'm interested in the track. You can see there's actually a lot of dust in turn 1. We're not looking at that now, but I think one of the support racers dropped a bit of oil on the track, and they've had to lay down some dust to clear it up. So that could be an indication for track development.
Liam Doran then comes down for his only clean run of the weekend. He's going to stop the clocks on a 2:53.7. To give you an idea, yesterday that would have seen him P3 in Q1. It would have seen him up in 2:53.7 in Q2. Would have been enough to win the session, but we know the track conditions have changed all weekend. And then where would he have been in Q3? That's possibly more realistic. I think the track conditions are different again, Dan.
Yeah, I'd say they are. There seems to be a lot more dust out there, which means the surface they're driving on is marbly.
Would have been good enough for 4th in Q3. Now, obviously, take that with a pinch of salt. The track conditions have been different every time, but it's an indication that Doran would have been able to help Andreas out. Look at the way Timmy and Kevin have helped each other in turn 1, and you start to get an idea, a feel for what Liam might have been able to do. So, unlucky Liam, it's been great to have the British Bond back for a whole season. He's not going to make it through to the semi-finals here, but he shows what pace he had in Q4 race 1. Jari Kaliakowski 2nd, Bennett Bennett third. Kaliakowski should make it. Bennett and Farashkin with that DNF are done for the weekend. What a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame that Liam wasn't able to really get muscle in there.
Liam's highlight of the season for me, Norway, and I believe he deserved that win. It was a real shame for him. He had a tiny mechanical in the car that the gear lever came off in his hand, you know, and it would have been a debut win for Liam, you know. It would have been amazing to see him take a win. Interestingly there, Dan, bit of understeer through turn one on that dust. Yeah, so of course every time a car drives over the top of that, that's going to be clearing, so arguably that tarmac section is going to be getting better later on through the qualifying session, but the question lies on what the gravel's going to do. Yeah, track developing. Liam Doran has given us our benchmark. You can see the red dust being dragged out across the tarmac sections. 3 races to go.
Liam, not the weekend you would have hoped for when you came here, but you look like you made the most of that last few laps around this track.
Yeah, go out with a bang, right? Yeah, it's a real shame that it hasn't worked out for me this weekend. I think I've had one of the worst weekends, luck-wise, in a long time for me, which is saying something. It is what it is, as I always say, you know, I'm standing strong, deal with it. Really would have liked to have been in the mix to help Andreas. I've had the pace, fastest in first practice yesterday, was top 3, top 4 again this morning on a fresh track. I can drive this car and this track really well. I really feel confident, but it just wasn't to be. So yeah, we'll see how that got on. They walked the track before then, so hopefully everyone's a little bit slower than Q3. But I did what I could. You know, I've been playing the team tactical weekend, probably been quite obvious what I've been doing to help Andreas, but I really wanted to do this now, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, thanks, Liam. Well done.
Thanks.
Liam Doran is so honest in his interviews. Genuinely, I mean this. My favourite interviews are probably Timmer and Liam, because Timmer is always just bonkers, isn't he? And it's just brilliant. The stuff I love Timmer. Like yesterday, I know the draw on Friday. He's hilarious, and he's such a character. But Liam, he's so honest. He's always so brutally honest, and he did have the pace. I know he would have helped Andreas. You know, they could have done with that second car in the mix. And you know, he said, "Yeah, it's obvious. Yeah, we know." But great job, Liam, and great job the RX Cartel. I hope the team comes back, and I hope we see Liam back as well. Full season for him, and you know, it was great to see.
Yeah, really great to see. And of course, not having the pressure of running his own car this year, he's been able to deliver really good performances through the season. And well, like he said, it's a shame he wasn't able to compete here, because he's definitely got the pace of this track.
There are the Monster Energy domes at the side of the track. The fans can get a great view of the track from there. Farashkin's Skoda has obviously got something terminal enough that they've had to stick it on a flatbed, which is usually transmission related. Otherwise, you drag it back on a rope, but maybe this is the faster way anyway. Monster Energy girls down the grid waiting for the next race. What's the temperature now? It is 38 degrees on track, 23 in the air. So it's a good 7 or 8 degrees less in terms of air temperature. Oh, Liam Doran, you're kidding me. No, that's RX2, surely. Is there a 33 in RX2?
Yeah, but they've not had Q4 in RX2 yet.
So, okay, so... we're seeing on our screens, we've got a slight anomaly on the screen because it says RX2 Q4, which hasn't happened yet. Number 33, track markers 5 seconds. So I'm guessing that shouldn't say RX2, I'm guessing it should say Supercar. It does, it's just been edited this very second. So Liam's been given a 5-second penalty. I mean, it doesn't make any difference because you haven't made it through to the semis. But Liam, we feel for you, mate. It's, I think you've got to strike this one up as a bad weekend, and I really hope we see Doran. I had a great chat with Liam on Friday, and I know he's in big discussions about next year, and I very much hope we see the British Bomb back on the grid. Guillaume de Ridder pulling up to the outside. So he got P3 in Q2 yesterday. He's only made the semi-finals once, and that was back in Spain. So I'm really hoping that Guillaume is going to make it here. I can't see any reason why he won't, to be honest, because the guys behind, well, I suppose if he had a retirement, de Ridder needs to do a reasonable time here. He was 6 points clear. I know he's a long way clear of Bennett. He's 11 points clear of Bennett, so he really only needs to beat Bennett's time, doesn't he, Dan?
Yeah.
To make it into the semis. That'll be a great end to the season for him. He's helped yesterday by track conditions. We both really like him, don't we? He's a transmission engineer for Renault F1.
Yeah, something for them. I can't say
cleverer than us.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. There's the spotters tower, so that's built up on the top of the hill. So at the Joker Lap split, if you were on board and you looked to your left, there's a big hill up there which that's on. The reason it's there is they can see most of the track from that vantage point. What they're looking up at is the array of screens above them, so they can check the times and things. There they are. So that's the long shot, and you can see the spotters tower is absolutely bang in the middle of your picture right now. So Tom is up our crane. Tom's always up the old crane. Every event this year. No snow for him this year. We'll see if we can help out with that next year.
Who can we see there? Anyone?
GCK guys in the middle. Right, here we go then. Let's get racing back underway. For Ashkin's cars all cleared up. We're good to go. Race 2, Q4. On the inside, Cyril Raymond won't make it this weekend due to a DQ for track markers. Timo Scheider is in P6. It's a great weekend for him. It's his birthday today. Christian Sabo 11th, Guillaume de Ridder 10th. De Ridder will be pleased just to make it. Sabo, I think, would like to be further up the grid. Christian Sabo's blown a bit hot and cold for me this year. He did brilliantly last year on his couple of outings in Supercar. He was very, very good indeed. Be interested to see what he decides to do for next season. Listen to that. Time to launch down towards Table Mountain, and it is super even. Maybe the best start for Scheider. He has indeed beaten Cyril Raymond away from the grid convincingly. Sabo on the outside. De Ridder moves to the inside. Sabo hasn't seen him. De Ridder was 3/4 about the inside. Good move by Guillaume de Ridder. His teammate now is in behind. Oh, he's been tagged by Cyril. Cyril Raymond tags Guillaume de Ridder. De Ridder pulls back and in front. Cyril Raymond drops down.
I think, Guillaume.
Oh no! So de Ridder's going to try and have a look through. Surely not any damage. Come on, Guillaume. Scheider's out front. Let's see the rear right of Guillaume's car. Contact again for de Ridder. De Ridder goes Joker. Cyril Raymond's gone with him. Is that car damaged? It looks okay to me, Dan, but it's hard to tell at this point.
Yeah, I think I saw from the camera angle, it looked a bit, it might just be bodywork, I'm not too sure. It just looked like the wheel was facing outwards a little bit.
So de Ridder then with the rear right, let's see if we can see it through the chicane. Look for the rear, yeah, why, is it bodywork or?
I'm not sure, it looks a bit odd, doesn't it?
It does look strange, so Cyril Raymond is in behind him, but Cyril really can do with staying out of his way for this one. I think it's intact, but it doesn't look like it's tracking quite right, does it? So, and it was Cyril that hit him, so, you know.
Yeah.
End of the season, isn't it? You don't have to worry quite so much about your team at the line. Cyril might have done it on purpose. We know that. Yeah. It's turn 1, turn 2.
These two have got a bit of a love story as well. If you follow them on Instagram.
Oh, they get on quite well, don't they?
Yeah.
Don't they share apartments and stuff when they're staying away, don't they? Sometimes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I saw. Was it Guillaume that put up the story of Cyril doing the cleaning, or was it the other way around?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, good guys. Both two young drivers. It's been a pleasure to have the GCK Academy along. Oh, backed it in that time. Careful, Guillaume. We don't want a track warning. Teammates got one of those already. Yeah, it's been great to have the GCK Academy along. Yeah, a couple of extra cars in the World Championship. Sabo over the jump, but Scheider's gapped him by 2.8. Two GCK guys have gone Joker already. Scheider's going to wait until the final lap. Sabo goes now, so Sabo into the Joker lap. 3.5 seconds he had over de Ridder. Should be enough, I think.
Yeah, he should be safe with that one.
So what do we reckon if he's going to come out? Well, let's see the gap as it crosses the line. It was 3.5. It's now 0.9. So is it 2.5 then, roughly, the Joker, isn't it?
Roughly, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So 2.5 seconds is what you want to be keeping your eyes out for. Joker time shouldn't change too much, should it? Because it's tarmac for the most part. But the inside lap time could change. That's where we've seen the holes in the past. Scheider a little bit deep on that apex. Obviously pushing hard. Yeah,
pushing really hard. Just a tiny bit too late on the brakes there. But I mean, he gathered it up all fine, and he's still got that gap back to Sabo.
2:57.345 is Jiri Kaliakowski's time. Scheider, by some margin, the highest placed of these guys. He's going to take that time by an absolute mile. Look, he's smashed it. First place, 5.2, nearly 5.3 seconds quicker. De Ridder gets a time of 2:56.1, which is quicker than Kaliakowski. So that's De Ridder in the semis, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sabo beat him, but Sabo's ahead. No, Sabo's one place behind him. So Sabo might well go in front of De Ridder, but I think De Ridder will be in. Loads of people up there, look. Decent applause in the crowd. They're loving the rallycross. Timo Scheider wins Q4 race 2. Christian Sabo, Guillaume de Ridder and Cyril Raymond. That's where they slot in. Scheider at the top with Sabo and de Ridder. Cyril Raymond down in 6th place. And I think Guillaume's going to make the semis, which is great for him. How far up will Timo Scheider be? Good weekend for the birthday boy. Off the line, look at that. So, okay, Cyril Raymond went backwards, which helped Timo Scheider out, didn't it? Big time. No bit of contact. Watch for the contact here into turn 2. So, yeah, there's not really anything Cyril could maybe have done about that. I mean, he could maybe have backed out of it a bit.
Yeah, a tiny bit early on the brakes, I would have said, personally. But I think, well, he may well have actually backed out because Guillaume came out in front of him after turn 3.
I think as well, it's fair to say Cyril didn't apply too much pressure to Guillaume during the course of the race because, Guillaume was on for semi-finals and Cyril isn't. So, well done playing the team part there. Yeah,
really good on him. And, well, like we said, they got their bit of little love affair, so helping each other out there. But Scheider has now set the benchmark.
Timo, you're like in a race all of your own there. You made it look very easy.
Well, in the end, we are fast since the beginning of the weekend. That's a good thing. And right now I had to deliver this one. Q3, I made my own mistake and lost a couple of positions like this. But in the end, we had now 4 clean runs, more or less. And now we see what the end will be.
Well, you should be able to enjoy at least the semi-final on your birthday. Happy birthday.
Very much, all the best. Enjoy watching.
He's a legend, isn't he, Timo? Cool as. I think he might be the coolest person in the paddock. What do you reckon?
Yeah, he's got to be up there. It's a battle between him and Timojanov, I think.
Yeah. I have no idea where we came up with the idea for standings on coolest person in the paddock, but I mean, maybe we should have some sort of a vote on it.
Post your comments below.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got some oil down, we think. Oh, okay, so who's that? Kaliakoski DQ'd. Stewart's decision. That could put Bennett in. It's going to put Bennett in. Oh, we're showing that, sorry. No, hang on a minute.
So that's from Q3.
So it's just, so that's a very late decision then. So they must have, so Kaliakoski's been DQ'd from Q3.
It could be something they found on the software.
Yes, it could, yeah, maybe touch the, so, okay, so Ollie Bennett might make the semi-finals here in South Africa because Kaliakoski has just popped up on the screen as DQ'd from Q3. I didn't even spot that it was Q3. It's very, very late, but as Dan said, if they're looking at data or if they've requested his onboard, something they're unhappy with. So we'll find out what that is.
Could have been the contact on the run to turn 1.
Q4 race 3 on the inside. Gulan Shisharit, Yanis Baumanis next to him, then Timur Timosyanov and Anton Markland. These guys are all safely into the semis. Both the GCK Renault Megans have gone for new boot on the left-hand side. Timosyanov had a P2 in Q2. We know how rapid he can be. He's got fast starting cars all alongside him though. If Timur could get the whole shot here, I fancy he could do something interesting. The marshal points the driver's eyes to the lights. Here we go. Can Timur get a decent start? Yes, he can. He gets a rocket ship of a start. He's way in front of Baumanis already. Oh, Timosyanov shuts the door 100 metres before turn 1. Shisharit is into P2. Timur runs wide. Shisharit's gone up the inside. Mistake from Timosyanov sideways into turn 2. Can he take Baumanis into turn 3? They're side by side as they come over the jump. Oh, contact in the air. Baumanis has the inside line on the brakes down to turn 4. Can hold the position. Timosyanov surely goes Joker now. So Timur has to go Joker if he wants any chance. If Baumanis goes, so Timur can't do that. I'd go on the next lap. Where is and on the start line still? We've got Anton Markland who's been left at the start at a standstill.
Yeah, so not good there for Markland and Timosyanov, the big loser there in the battle in the first corner. I think maybe that dust that we saw was laid down earlier on in the day, catching him out a tiny bit there. So really unlucky for him. And of course, Baumanis going to the joke lap in front of him as well has really not helped him out.
So Timur now has a decision to make. He either tries to gap Baumanis behind and catch up with Shisharit in front, or he goes Joker now to protect the position. At the moment, the gap is, what back to 2.9. Not enough, 1.8. I think if he goes now, Baumanis will get him.
Yeah, 100%. And Baumann.
Mistake there from Schiesser, maybe. He's a little bit deep and late on the rotation there, Dan.
Yeah, I didn't quite see that as well.
Oh, go on, Anton, get in.
Mechanic Markland is on the move there. So
pass me the 13 mil. I think I can fix this, lads. We're only a lap down. No, he's out, of course. Unfortunately, he's been lapped, so he will be a DNF. It's a shame for Markland. And what does that do as well? Markland was in 7th, so with Kaliakowski's DQ, which we're hearing from the previous session, was for touching the launch button. Ollie Bennett could make it through, so drama towards the end. We've had drama all year. What a brilliant season. Schiesser into the chicane. Timmer's Yarnov with him. Timmer's gap, I think, has come down again, so Baumanis is now only 1.3 off the back of him. What's Yanis Baumanis? He's 2.8 off Schiesser. Schiesser with a little nudge on the curve on the inside.
Yeah, so just make him run a tiny bit wide there on the exit. Timmer's Yarnov late on the brakes, smoking the tyres up there. As I think maybe he could have a tracking problem, you know.
Yeah, I was thinking the same, but maybe from that contact, it looks like it's rubbing a bit. He's got terrible understeer through the middle of turn 1 as well. Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me if he's towing in from the contact on the run into turn 2, so both of his front wheels are facing inwards, effectively.
So you get a fair bit of understeer. You want them either level, don't you? Possibly a tiny bit. It depends, does it, on settings, but definitely not tow in.
No, that's awful for him.
Okay, into the joke lap then goes Schiesser, and Timmer's Yarnov goes with him. Timmer got a great start, but he couldn't make it work. Schiesser now, the drag race with Baumanis is going to be super close between them at the merge. Schiesser moves across, is he clear? Only just. Baumanis slots in behind. Gulan Schiesser chasing 252.0. How quick is it? Oh, it's so close, not close enough. 253.1. Schiesser goes P2, which is a good result. He's a second off the back of Scheider. Scheider leads Q4 as we stand. Good drive, Gulan Schiesser. I can't help thinking that Timmer could have gone quicker. It clearly had an issue in turn 1 after that contact. Great start by him, but just didn't come off. Gulan Schiesser, it takes race 3 of Q4, then it's Baumanis, Timmer's Yarnov, Anton Markland, the DNF. So we've got lots of working out to do on who's going to make it through to the semis. At the minute, Scheider leads Q4. It's a great result for him. He was P6 coming into this session. Schiesser, Baumanis, Sabo, Timmer's Yarnov, your top 5. Watch this start from Timmer. Okay, so Markland's got a terminal issue there, but it was absolutely stunning. He shut the door, and then, as you say, Dan, unfortunately, ran wide. I mean, he did have understeer there in turn 1. Maybe there's something he's just not quite happy with. Maybe they've changed something.
Yeah, of course, they're always trying to chase the best setup, and maybe something not quite worked out from there. And then we saw the contact, which knocked his tracking out.
We did see him yesterday, do you remember, on the handbrake with a full-on Formula Drift move around the white line, around the outside, Timmer. So maybe he's been using the handbrake in that corner most of the weekend. Hard to tell.
Yeah, potentially just really not happy with that corner in general.
Yeah, you can have one, can't you, which catches you out. So he didn't get it done, having got the whole shot, ended up down in P3. Schiesser just edging Yanis Baumanis, so a good result for the Frenchman. He's currently 2nd.
Gulan, that puts you in 2nd overall in this session, which is a good result. How was it?
Yeah, it was good. I feel really okay. I tried to give everything I have. You know, I knew it was my last qualification of the years, and I had some good and bad days, and I said, okay, let's try everything, you know, and it's good to finish like this. Pretty happy. The start was not so good, but I saw Timur open the doors and I just go. And after I just do what I have to do, driving. It was pretty good.
Merci, thank you.
Markland to be towed off. There we go. See, he said to take it back on the road, didn't we, if it's not transmission. He had the bonnet off, so it was interesting for Markland, wasn't it, to have a look underneath. Let's see then. We're going to have a look at Markland's reaction. I don't mean his reaction time. I think it's like, he's gutted. Thumb for the car. Hard to tell if he's annoyed with himself or the car there, Dan. I mean, what do you think? Got to be
yeah, it's hard to tell there, but one thing to say is at least he knocked over the starting stick. So he started the race, so he's only going to score DNF points rather than DNS.
Yes, Dan Rook. Great. Like that. So yeah, the car moved off the line, didn't it? But it's strange to move so little. He's going to have a look underneath the car as well. So, okay, so I think Mark can potentially... They've got a little bit of time, obviously, before the semis, and I think he'll still make it, but we'll find out at the end of the session. So Anton may be getting onto the team, Dan, take the bonnet off, have a look underneath, getting onto the team and say to them, look, guys, this is this is the issue. Maybe it's engine. He might know that already, in which case he knows it's a big job and it's got to get done fast. Although I believe the ProDrive car is designed to get the engine out very quickly. I know they now run differently, but it's still that design, so the engine should come out quickly. Oh, tension time now, isn't it? So all a little bit up in the air as to who's going to be where in the semis towards the lower end. We've got a very good idea of who's up at the sharp end, haven't we? I can't believe it's the last qualifying race of the year.
I know. Yeah. It feels like yesterday we were in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Not really quite as... it was a bit hotter in Abu Dhabi, mate.
Not that much. That was actually That's really hot.
You nearly passed out, mate.
It was really hot. Here we go then. The Monster Energy girls raise the boards for the last time this year in qualifying. It's Q4 race 4. All three of our championship protagonists are in this one, and they're in championship order. Timmy Hansen on the inside leads the series by 1 point from Andreas Backerud. Kevin Hansen is 7 points further back from Backerud. Niklas Gronholm has been the fastest man here, I think, for most of the weekend. Kevin's gone for new boots on the left-hand side. Gronholm with that jump start last time out, couldn't get it done. Can he beat these guys now? He beat them yesterday. We've seen these guys racing together once before, but this is a fight for the World Championship on track in the last qualifying race. Remember, if Timmy out-qualifies Andreas and Kevin, he extends his lead in the points. Here we go! Down to turn 1. This is pretty much the most crucial start of the weekend. It's very even on the inside. Backwards, Timmy Hansen already going to move across. Contact between them all the way down to turn 1. Oh, Timmy Hansen's laying the brakes. Whole shot run around the outside. Kevin Hansen moves to the inside. Backward, getting it hung out to dry here. Surely Kevin's on his inside too. Can he stay there into P2? Turn 3, Backward can. So he comes up the inside of Kevin Hansen. Kevin drops down. So it is Gronholm, Timmy Hansen, Backward and Kevin Hansen. Gronholm has gone away from them again, Dan. He is a weapon this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they're all tangling as Andreas has gone joker lap. So Andreas trying to give himself that bit of clear space. But yeah, Gronholm was, of course, on the outside and away from everybody tangling on the way down to turn 1. So he just got the clear drive and drove around the outside of everybody.
Gronholm's accuracy through there, and Timmy too. You were saying, Dan, you think they're running the Peugeot pretty stiff?
Yeah, I think they are. We were watching back some images earlier in the truck, and you can see they're able to lift the rear wheel of the car just using the transition of the weight on the brakes. So yeah, I think they do have a bit of a stiff setup on that Peugeot.
They've gone well here previously. The Hyundai is edging them right now, but of course, you know, they don't actually have to worry about Gronholm. They can leave Gronholm. Timmy goes now. Timmy Hansen goes now. This is surely to protect his position from Andreas Backerud. So Timmy Hansen goes joker on lap 2. Backerud on the inside. It's going to bring him out clearly in front. That is a very clever tactical decision. Leave Gronholm. Don't worry about Kevin. Be in front of Andreas Backerud.
Yeah, that is, well, that's the aim for the whole weekend, isn't it, effectively, rather than just this race. So, yeah, Team Hansen just getting the job done, responding when they can.
Psychological too, though, down as well. They're going to make Andreas follow him for a couple of laps. Now, here's the gap look between Kevin Hansen and Backerud. At the minute, they think he's going to go the way of Andreas. So Backerud might get Kevin. That's going to put them back in championship order again. We might see slightly extended gap between them at the end of this one, assuming, of course, it finishes this way. So Kevin Hansen's going to wait joker at the end. He wants to try and extend that gap. He's got to. They'll be on the radio. Graham will be on the radio to one of his road market spotter and saying push, push, push.
Yeah, push, push, but, you know, don't make any silly mistakes. You know, they're clearly into the semis, but they don't want to be throwing anything away either.
No, he wants front row, doesn't he? They all, at the minute, these are your front rows, and we're going to find out who's going to be in which semi-final and what front row, who's facing off against each other. Niklas Gronholm on the brakes down into the right-hander. Super close on the right and the left. No penalties for any of these guys for track markers, which is brilliant. Andreas Backerud at the back of the pack. Into the joker, then goes Gronholm and Kevin Hansen. Watch for the inside. Timmy Hansen, Andreas Backerud. Whereabouts is Kevin going to be? Can he get Backerud? I don't think he can. It's going to be close between them. Kevin comes out just behind. Is he going to have a look on the inside? He's super late in the brakes. Gronholm takes it. How fast is he? Fast enough to win the session. 2:49.5. 2.5 seconds quicker than Scheider. Timmy Hansen goes into, so in fact they're all quicker, so all 4 of these guys have gone quicker than Scheider. They're P1 to 4 in this session. Gronholm, Timmy Hansen, Andreas Backerud and Kevin Hansen. They finished in championship order again, and that is going to mean that Timmy Hansen is going to extend his lead over Andreas Backerud. Where will Gronholm be? Will it be by 1 point or will it be by 2 points? Because Niklas Gronholm's just won that last session from Timmy Hansen, and I think that's going to put Gronholm into the TQ spot, so it's going to be a 1 point extension. Confirmation of the result, Niklas Gronholm takes Q4. That has a bearing on the championship standings. Timmy Hansen second, Backerud third, Kevin Hansen fourth. All of them go to the top 4, and we'll bring you the overall standings very soon indeed. What a drive by Gronholm. Goodness me. So no major drama for any of our championship contenders in the qualifying stages, which is fantastic. This is what we wanted. We wanted it to go to the well, I wanted it to go to the semi-finals. I hope you guys did at home. But we've got semi-finals and finals to come. It's going to go down to the line.
That was a great drive, Niklas. How was it for you?
Sorry?
It was a great drive. How was it for you?
It was okay. Car is feeling good, and we are doing good launches, so yeah, really happy.
It looks like you're really confident with this car through this track, hitting those corners, really good apexes.
Yeah, for sure, and we've been doing some improvements during the weekend all the time, thinking that where we can gain a little bit, and to be honest, I don't know what the times were like, but now the car was feeling the best that it has this weekend, so we're going in the right direction, I mean, and yeah, we just need to have 2 more good races and yeah, try to enjoy it as much as possible.
I can tell you the times were very good. Thank you, Kiitos.
So this was off the line. Timmy Hansen with a good start. Backerud had edged him down towards turn 1. Kevin Hansen up the inside of Andreas Backerud at this point. Backerud did well actually to hold on to his position there against Kevin in the background, but by now Gronholm had got them out front and was just driving away. I mean, his lap times 40.2, 40.2, oh my God, 3 40.2s in a row.
And then, of course, the Joker being the only one that's not the 40.2.
Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. So the lap times are slower than they were earlier today, I think, or no, they're about the same.
About similar, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, just Gronholm is on fire. My money's on Gronholm for the win overall. But of course, this isn't about that. This is about a World Championship. And the World Championship contenders have finished in championship order. Where will they be in the standings at the end of Q4? Great job, Niklas Gronholm. He'd love to take a proper win here and round out a season in South Africa with a top step on the podium. Let's take a look at the standings then. For the last time this year ahead of the semi-finals, Niklas Gronholm is the TQ. Top qualifier Gronholm winning Q2 and Q4. Timmy Hansen is P2, having won Q1 and Q3. Timmy Hansen will extend his championship lead over Andreas Backerud by 1 point to 2 points. Still not enough. Kevin Hansen will be a further point back from them in 4th. So your top 3 in the championship are P2, 3 and 4. But most importantly, Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen will be together on the front row of semi-final number 2, while Backerud has to face up to Niklas Gronholm in turn 1. So maybe advantage Hansen's. Timoziano, Scheider, Balmanis, Shisharit, Sabo de Ridder is in, so's Markland, and Ollie Bennett makes the semi-finals at the last event of the year. Great job by him. There we have it. So we thought it was going to go down to the wire, and it absolutely is. So live maths, terrible always, but we know that now Timmy Hansen leads the World Rallycross Championship by, okay, we've got the standings. I don't have to hurt my brain. Let's take a look. Here are the World Championship standings for drivers at the end of qualifying in South Africa. Timmy Hansen leads Andreas Backerud by 2 points. Kevin Hansen is a further 8 points back, so there's 10 now between Timmy and Kevin. Is this the point at which the Hansens back Timmy for the World Championship title? Because Timmy and Kevin Hansen are together in semi-final number 2, and they've just taken the team's championship for 2019. Well, so 1 title done for the Hansens. You know, great for them. Fantastic that they've managed to tie that up now, because that's one less thing to think about. It's advantage Hansen's for me, because the two of them are in that semi-final together. They're side by side on the front row, whereas Andreas is outside of Niklas Gronholm.
Exactly. Yeah, the Hansens have got complete control over, you know, semi-final 2 effectively. So yeah, and Andreas is going to have to try and muscle his way in past Gronholm. We know how fast Gronholm's been, so that's immediately, if Gronholm beats him, he's going to be taking an extra point away from Andreas. Whereas if Timmy wins his semi, that's another point
so
he's
3
gained.
points, and then that makes it then that it's if they finished equal on points. So remember, it's a 3-point gap. It's 8 for the win, 5 for second. So if Timmy wins his semi and Andreas doesn't, he gets 1 more point. You could then end up in the point where they go into the final, and Andreas Baccarat, even if he wins the final, they'd be equal on points, and Timmy would win on countback. There is a lot still to come. Anything can happen, but I think this is the point that Kevin will start to support Timmy. We'll know soon enough. Semi-finals coming up later this afternoon. We've got some RX2 business to conclude. Let's get down to the line and finish off their Q4. So not too much in the way of drama for the World Championship front runners. I say not too much in the way of drama. We've had a season of utter drama. I have to let my brain slow down a bit once we finish with Supercar. What a wild ride. Right, let's have a look. Paperwork change. Osland, Michalak and Vakela in this one. It's a long old hold. Good start by Michalak in the middle. Vakela goes a little bit backwards. Osland, those going to edge him on the run down to turn 1. Vakela moves inside. Michalak trying to go all the way around the outside. He'd do well if he can make that work. Now needs to bring the nose in time for turn 2. There we go, job done. Over the crest and down towards the first braking zone. Right, so, oh dear, locked wheels again. Osman runs a little bit deep. Michalak closes down due to that, so Michalak now has a choice. He decides not to joker lane. Vakela's gone joker on this one. Looking at their standings, Vakela is in 12th. And remember, we were looking at the championship fight in this one too. Now, we know it's done. Ericsson basically wins the championship as long as, well, he'd win the championship, I think, even if he doesn't finish this session. But at the end of this session, he'll officially take it, points-wise. But it was whether or not Kallio could stay in the semi-finals, because Jesse Kallio had a DNF and a DNS yesterday, and he could do with Lane Vakela not having a great time. And did Vakela get a bicycle penalty last time for track markers?
Yes, he did, yeah, I believe.
We'll look back down our screen.
50,
yes, he did. So yeah, so track markers 5 seconds, which would have put him towards the bottom again, I think. So Lane Vakela is the man who Kallio's got his eyes on, but we actually thought this week that even if he wins the session, Kallio, it's not enough, is it, to overtake him?
No, so I think what Kallio is going to be secretly praying for, of course nobody really wants that, is that Lane Vakela was to clip another marker and he'd be disqualified from the session. Therefore he'd score a 0-point score, and Kallio's got more chance of making it through to the semis.
That's a very, very good point. Lane Vakela will not want that at all. He wants to make it through to the semis. Just never look down at my points. I don't think he's made the semis so far. It'd be nice for him to do it here in South Africa. Yeah, Q15 back in France. So no, he didn't make it. So Lane Vakela wanting to make it through to the semi-finals. All he's got to do is not clip track markers. We're looking at an investigation on the screen between Guillaume de Ridder and Cyril Raymond. Teammates, that won't matter because the race went the way of de Ridder, and that sees de Ridder through to the semis. So it doesn't actually matter what the stewards do about that, other than a slap on the wrist for Cyril, maybe, because we did feel probably that was avoidable, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he could have got on the brakes a little bit earlier, but you know, I'm sure they'll probably have a discussion within the team rather than having to do it in the stewards' room.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't be silly, Cyril, or you're paying for that bumper. Osland goes into the joker lap with Michalak just behind. Linus Osland was in P where? Come on, Andrew, get that brain going. P8 coming into this session. Okay, hear a slightly flat-sounding engine there. Michalak, though, is going to come through in second place. Michalak was 11th, and Lane Vakela was going to cross the line in third. Was in 12th place, so that might well have secured Vakela a spot in the semi-finals. We'll let you know if anything comes up on the screens, and I'd say the only thing which could change that... Oh, that's cool, look, Linus Osland flag down there. Basically, anyone involved in rallycross from Northern Europe has come down to South Africa because it's rubbish at home now for the next 4 months. So you come down here and it's just about to get really awesome down here. Spring kind of summer. I mean, it's hot already, isn't it? It's been very pleasant. Much to my mates' disgust at home. I sent them a great video last night of me having a nice beer in the sunshine on a rooftop bar. Well, the sunshine had gone down, to be honest, hadn't it? We popped upstairs when we got home from the track about 8 o'clock. But it was very warm. They were horrified. Osland takes it from Michalak and Vakela. Vakela might make it through to the semis with that. So this is off the line, Michalak in the middle of the grid and Osland this side. Osland made that mistake on the run down to the chicane. It's quite a heavy braking zone, isn't it, after the jump? Don't know if we'll see it.
It's a really difficult one to pick your braking point because there's no reference as you approach down there. You won't be able to see it because you won't be able to see it unless you're in the driver's view. But there's no point of reference to say that's my braking point. So you kind of just got to guess it.
Well, it looks too similar down both sides of the track.
Yeah.
So very hard to pick that spot. Osland did slightly miss his braking point, but he still took the win.
Linus, a good race result. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was okay. Nice with a heat win. I don't think the time was quite enough, but yeah, nice with a heat win. So pushing for the semi-final.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fraser McConnell with a new bumper on the car, which they haven't had quite a time to make like Jamaica with. Big up Jamaica. There they are. That's his brother and his mum, I think.
Yeah.
And I know a big Fraser McConnell fan. Bucky Lasek will be watching. Message last night. If you didn't watch ARX this year, Bucky was he's an ex-rallycross competitor, skateboard legend, and a very, very nice bloke who we spent the year working. It's a great pleasure working with him on ARX, and he sent me a message last night going, say hi to the guys, I will be watching. I think there's a bunch of drivers from the World Championship and America's Rallycross who are watching this weekend with interest, you know, because it's the closest it's ever been. Eyes on the lights. Inside to outside, it's McConnell, Trogan, Volders, Olofsson, and Aneklev. McConnell could do with a good start here. No contact so far. Sammy Matti Trogan is next to his just absolutely 5 abreast. Late on the brakes. Oh, running wide. It's Olofsson. And a spin, it was the spin, was it Olofsson or was it Aneklev? Olofsson, yeah, Aneklev's got P4. So Fraser McConnell in second behind Sammy Matti Trogan. Sammy Matti goes defensive on the brakes. Fraser will close down in the chicane. Now got to decide whether he thinks he can go Joker early or not. And Olofsson goes to the Joker. So Olofsson's going to go Joker and hope to get out in front of, sorry, Aneklev, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, and Eklev's gone Joker, hoping to get out in front of Olofsson. Olofsson was the only yellow car that made it very easy, didn't it? Now Eklev's come along with a yellow car. We'll have to have a word with him. Ooh.
2 penalty markers there for Trogan as he came through the chicane.
So Trogan has got a warning already, so Trogan could get...
And McConnell's just wiped 2 of them out on the way into turn 1.
Then they could both be DQ'd from this race. So Fraser McConnell and Sammy Matti Trogan could both get DQ'd from this race. And what difference would that make? How far up the standings are they? Oh, they love to make it complicated, don't they? So basically, those markers, you get 1 warning, 1 5-second penalty, and then you get a DQ. We've seen it happen to Sil Raymond this weekend. Then it gets reset back to 0. So that's not ideal for either of these 2 guys. They both had a warning from yesterday, so that should, in theory, mean 3 strikes, and that they get a DQ, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, my only question is, I think Sammy Mattis was done on his own merit, but I think Fraser McConnell was looking up the inside of Sammy Matti Trogan. I don't know if maybe Sammy Matti closed the door and pushed him into the bollards would be the only thing.
So that's likely to go then to the steward's room, isn't it?
That could be the saving grace there for
Probably
Fraser.
an investigation, yeah. Fraser out front. Going to hold on now, I think, a Joker on the last lap. And Enklev is 4.6 back. We reckon the deficit's about 2.5 in a supercar. What's the Joker like here down in an RX2 car? Big tarmac on the way in, isn't it? You're braking through a radius?
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to pick your braking point on that as well. You're trying to really balance the car as you come around, and then of course you want to be braking heavy whilst the car is already loaded up to put it facing to the right, and then you've also got to make sure you believe you're turning quite late because of the angle of the corner when you turn onto the gravel was a bit of an odd one.
You want it straight as soon as possible on the exit, I guess, too, to find some traction on that loose run up.
You want to be straight on the tarmac, basically, as you turn onto the gravel.
So as you transition, you should already have rotated the car. Let's see what Fraser does. There's a little stretch of tarmac onto it, look.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. So by the time you reach that second bail, you should be really straight. Fraser McConnell had a brand new bumper on that car at the start of this race. He's already going in the bin. The question is, will his time be going in the bin? He's going to go fastest, I think, just about. Yeah, 0.4 of a second nearly. But him and Sammy Trogan hit a couple of the markers up in the first corner. So that could well be a problem. That might well be in the replays as well. They are jumping up and down. You can't beat the support he's got. But honestly, other than backward, I can't think of a driver who's got more of a hardcore support base. You know, Jamaica's right behind him. I know they'll be watching. It's great. It's brilliant.
Who is it who posted on Instagram from Jamaica? Was it the Prime Minister?
Prime Minister, Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
You know, well, the Prime Minister isn't Usain Bolt. They're both really cool guys. I mean, that's just great. You know, who has their Prime Minister posting about? It's just fantastic. What a great country. Fraser McConnell, top of the table here. Sammy Trogan P2, but as we say, they both hit some markers. Netclev and Volders and Olofsson. Hang on a minute, we're looking, and who's track markers plus 5 seconds to 35. That's Fraser. So track markers plus 5. Have we got another message on there about Trogan or not?
Not yet.
Not yet. So plus 5 for Fraser McConnell. So he's going to go from the top of that table to nearly at the bottom. We better let Fraser know. Neil's with him now. He's just been handed a 5-second penalty. Maybe he'll appeal it.
Fraser, we're hearing you got a 5-second penalty for track markers in that. Do you think that's correct?
I mean, yeah, the track is the most track markers the track has ever had. I did have the pass on Trogan. He closed the door and I had nowhere to go. So if the 5-second penalty is what it has to be, but I'm out here to race, and if I have a gap and I don't go for it, I might as well go home. So I'm going to have to accept the 5-second penalty, but I'm happy with my pace. And yeah, hopefully it's enough to beat the guys behind me, but yeah, I'm having fun.
Good. See you in the semis anyway.
Thank you.
Well, that took the edge off it for Fraser, but watch this and let's see. I agree with him. If he's had the door shut on him, Dan, he's got nowhere to go, in which case, don't forget, we've seen before they've been honest judge of fact, it can't be turned over. It has been turned over here because they cancelled Kevin Hansen's track markers, and I'm hoping that if Fraz is right and he's had the door shut on him, also he said, same as what a lot of people said, more track markers here than anywhere else in the past, and he wants to go for gaps. We've got to allow that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where Sammy Matti did it, and we'll see here the door being shut. Was there contact? Yeah, Sammy Matti's run him up the curb already.
Well, then he can't go anywhere, can he? So for me, Sammy Mattis was clearer the previous lap. We're not seeing anything about that because he just hit them on his own, didn't he? Through the last 2 corners.
He didn't have any contact with anybody.
Well, look, I know from discussions we've had this weekend that we're looking to reduce as many of those cones as we can, so fingers crossed for next year. There's your champion-elect and your current champion as well, Ollie Eriksson. He'll be facing up against the guy who was in P2 and hoping to hold on to that position, but maybe dropping down the order. Jesse Kallio. Last year, of course, Eriksson won the championship from De Ridder and Krogstad. What was his margin? It was nearly 20 points. So it's pretty similar, to be fair. Okay, so track markers going back in, and that's only fair because what we don't want is for these last guys to just be able to do whatever they want. So we've had a number of discussions about track markers this weekend, and it remains to be seen what gets done. It's very difficult with rallycross cars because they're able to drive over everything. Actually, when we're... Okay, we're going to see it getting knocked down from the inside, so he's at least halfway up the inside. Now there's contact here.
I don't know if there is contact.
No, I wonder if Fraz was already 2 wheels off. Look, he's got to go for it. It's cost him a bumper. He's got to go for it, and that's why we love drivers who go for the gaps, isn't it? You know, but I want them to do it. And you know, our track limits rule is 1 wheel on. So let's hope that, you know, if the track limits rule is 1 wheel on, Dan, we would like to see the cones further back, wouldn't we, basically? Yeah, I mean, it's part of rallycross, isn't it? Seeing cars going 2 wheels over curbs and flying through the air. And I feel, and I know you feel the same, that these penalty markers have restricted that. Yeah, so we'd like to see them move back a bit. I'll say that discussions are underway. The rules change quite a lot because every year we want to make the spectacle better. So we try and do things. Let's limit the number of personnel that can come, keep the cost down. Great idea. You know, there's lots of things, but stuff changes over time. And of course, the cars have become so capable, particularly the supercars. Let's have a look at how close they are to the edge of the track. Look, and the other thing, Dan, is you actually want to use that curb, don't you? Yeah. I mean, in a lot of cases, like especially in the one in the chicane in Julius, they use the curb to rotate the car. Yeah. So by putting you know the 2 wheels on the inside into the air, pop the car. You've popped it, and it can rotate, and then you land and you go. And that's one of the ones again that's being discussed about moving a bit further away. We want to see drivers making cuts. You know, it depends on the track. Obviously, there are certain circuits where it's here last year they were making cuts in the inside of turn 1 and pulling big lumps of concrete out from the back of the curb. We don't want that to happen, but there's a borderline between. You can't just go putting massive ramped curbs in because this circuit's used for other stuff as well, and the same's true of a number of the rallycross circuits. And yes, you can say traditional or not traditional, but Lytton Hill is a traditional circuit which was used for rallycross. You know, so there's a limit to the curbs they can put in there because there's bike racing at Lytton Hill, tons of it. So you can't make that argument either. I know it's coming. It's how they manage it. It's how they manage it. We don't really like too much in the way of tyre bales because they damage the cars so much. So again, that's to help the competitors out. So yeah, when you're thinking about these things, or when we're thinking about it, you have to take a lot into consideration. It's not just to put a big curb in. I don't like bollards. We're not mad about the bollards either. So, you know, let's see what we can do. Let's keep taking this fantastic sport forward, shall we? Positivity, people. Oh, last qualifying race of the year, Dan. I wonder how many qualifying races we've commentated. I think it's a lot.
Well, yeah, we had like events in Sweden and Norway where we had ridiculous hours on live stream.
Yeah,
didn't we?
We did 10 million races, I think, there. No, yeah, actually, was that our director that we just heard from? That you meant? Yes, it is. It's Steve.
If World RX Stats on Twitter's listening, can they tell us how many?
Tell us how many World RX Stats. We know who you are. Tell us how many races we've commentated this year. Bearing in mind we don't do some of the sport categories. So he's probably got a spreadsheet on it already. You know, there's a stat on everything. But yes, our director and our lovely cameraman. Don't forget our great, big, fantastic TV team. Well, tiny little TV team, to be fair. Work very hard, and they are covering all the races. Even the ones that aren't live streamed, they cover them for the big screen, so they are even harder working. Ollie Eriksson away from the line on the inside. Kallio has been edged on the outside. Gryerson going to try and put the squeeze on Nash. He's in the middle of the grid. Gunderson slots in behind Eriksson. Kallio bursts out from that pack into P3. Gunderson's on the inside. It's Gunderson who's going to try and take the position away from him in the standings. Oh, Kallio spins to the inside, does he? No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. It's Kallio. So Kallio has spun to the inside. I couldn't see in the dust. But Kallio tried to go up the inside of Gunderson, and he needed an absolutely brilliant result. Unfortunately, I think that's probably Kallio done.
Yeah, I think he's not going to be going any further. It wasn't physically possible for him to score anything without somebody being disqualified.
Get those DQs, yeah. So actually, that's a point. Unless Fraz, maybe they've only penalised him with a 5-second because he hit them both in the same corner.
Potentially, yeah. Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with Sami Matitrogan as well, if he's got something. RX,
so he got a 5-seconder as well. 22 is Trogan, so he's been given 5 seconds. No supercars. Oh, right. Okay, no, that's all right. We've seen that one already. Aha! Let me tell you about something that was incorrect. Kaliakowski, that's the DQ from earlier. So stuff scrolls up the screen, it appears and disappears. Sorry. So yeah, Kallio and Fraser McConnell have been given those 5-second penalties, so neither of them are going to be happy about it. It remains to be seen if they'll both stand or whether McConnell's guys might say, look, come on, he was pushed. Nasha comes out from the joker lap behind. Gryerson has already jokered. Kallio at the back of the pack. Can Kallio make it through to the semi-finals and try to stop Gundersen from nicking his second place in the standings at the end of the year? It's his rookie year as well, Kallio. Third, second, third, then he was 6th in France, and now it looks like he might have a shocker here. Yeah, he's been on the podium as many times as Oliver Eriksson. It's been a great season for Kallio, but we must point that out.
Yeah, fantastic. And he came from, didn't he come from RX Academy?
Yeah, he did, yeah, Academy, yeah.
So, yeah.
As did Trogan.
Yeah, so both of those guys trying to come up through the ranks of development, and well, they're both gunning for the World RX, of course, aren't they?
I said yesterday we were looking at who did we think might step up from RX2, and I actually thought Kallio, although he's not won it this year, I think he's one of the ones who might be likely to, because he keeps making those steps up, you know, from through the different categories. So, Ollie Eriksson then on his final lap of qualifying for 2019. He won the championship last year from Guion de Ridder and Henrik Krogstad. He's going to come around this Joker lap now. He's aiming for the top time. He'd love to have a perfect weekend here. He already had a perfect weekend earlier on in the year back in the UK. But Ollie Eriksson coming down to the start-finish line. He's going to take the checker flag, and with it he becomes the 2019 RX2 champion. Retains the crown from last year. Double champion. Incredible performance from him. And a 2:59.9 is enough to win the session as well. So he's clean sweeped the sessions this weekend, and he secures the championship before the semi-finals. Great performance. Gundersen behind. What did Gundersen get? 3:01.2. Gundersen goes second. So Gundersen has gone second. Lane Vakela is down in 9th or 10th, I think. So, I mean, Kallio's out, as we say, unless somebody pulls from the semi-finals. Here's your result. Oliver Eriksson takes it, and with that, the 4th session of the weekend. Brilliant performance. Ben Philip Gundersen second, then it's Gryazin, Narsha and Kallio. I don't think we're going to see where they slot in this time, but we know he's at the top of the table. So, Oliver Eriksson, your RX2 champion. Onto the roof first of all. Brilliant. Good lad. And now down for a chat with Neil.
Oliver, you've had a very busy year, but another clean sweep and you retain the title. What does it mean to you?
You know, it's so awesome, you know. Get back in the car another year. I got the opportunity from Red Bull AM, helped me out, and Osberg MSC to do it. So we took it, and yeah, it was great. But you know, it's all thanks to my team, my teammates, Fraser, Jesse. Unfortunately, we couldn't race fair for it today. But you know, it's all a team effort, and I can't thank them enough.
Congratulations. You've got 2 more races, hopefully, today to finish the season off. Will we see you in a supercar next year, do you think?
Oh, you never know. All depends on the guys up top, you know. But you know, I will do my best to get up there. I really want to. So hopefully I can get the opportunity to show what I can.
Well done. Congratulations. Great job.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, he's very happy, and rightly so. It's a hard-fought series, this one. So Kallio did such a great job to be close to him. He had his own issues, Eriksson, didn't he? He won the first 4 events of the year. Spain, Belgium, UK, Norway. Sweden, he was 6th in the semi, had a problem, didn't he, in Sweden?
I think the engine, something on the engine.
Yeah, 2nd in France. I mean, you know, he was looking to get the old gold clean sweep of the whole year, win every event. Johan missed that by 1, didn't he? That was pretty impressive, Johan. We're still thinking about it. But yeah, great job, Dan.
Yeah, fantastic job, and you know, credit to him. He is a class act, and he really knows these machines like the back of his hand, and you can just see it driving around there.
Oliver Eriksson then, 2018 and 2019 RX2 champion. Eriksson with a clean sweep of qualifying here in South Africa. Ben Philip Gundersen's done a great job, looked to be P2. Fraser McConnell holds on to P3 despite the penalties. That's made no difference to him. Gryazin, Osland, Trogan, Narsha and Olofsson down to the bottom. It is Kallio who's out. So Kallio misses out unless somebody withdraws. So Annette Glev, Volders, Mitchlak and Vakela. Fantastic stuff from RX2. We've crowned a champion. We've done one, but we have got another one to go, and that the World Championship, Dan, I mean, we know it's been brilliant. Obviously, we had the incident in Abu Dhabi which put Timmy and Andreas on the back foot. It's pretty incredible that they're in this fight. I'm gutted Gronholm's not in this fight, but how good?
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? You can just see how consistent they all are. They're all so close on pace. And, well, it's just completely contrast to what we've seen in previous years, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly the last couple of years where Johan's been very dominant. Johan gets to hang on to the trophy for another couple of hours because, of course, about 3 p.m. local, we're going to be doing the semi-finals and the final. But take a look at the drivers' standings as we go into the last two semi-finals and the last final of the year. Timmy Hansen leads the World Rallycross Championship by 2 points. And remember, it's 6 for a win in the semis and it's 8 for a win in the final. There are 14 points up for grabs, and Kevin Hansen is only 10 off the back of his brother, 8 off the back of Andreas. Timmy and Kevin will be on row 1 in semi-final number 1. Andreas and Niklas. Oh, no, sorry, this is, I'm looking at championship standings. It will be, of course, that from the standings at the end, it's going to be Gronholm and Baccarat in semi-1 and Timmy and Kevin in semi-2. So I think it's advantage Hansen. What do you think?
Yeah, I think 100%. Of course, he's got that little bit of a points buffer, but as well going into the semis, you know, if they also use Kevin now to back Timmy up.
I think they will. I think certainly he'll keep him safe in turn 1, and then he can play rear gunner for him if they want to. You know, and okay, if something happens to Timmy in semi 1, Kevin is then, in theory, he's P2 and takes the win anyway. So it's an easy one, isn't it? You put him in as rear gunner, protect Timmy, and then if something goes wrong, you've got a backup.
Yeah, exactly.
Compared to Baccarat, who's got to fight Gronholm, who you know
is on form this weekend.
I wouldn't be betting against Gronholm this weekend. Brilliant stuff so far. This is the last time you're going to be seeing us. I'm sure you'll be pleased about that. You'll be hearing us later on, of course, to the semi-finals and the finals. But thanks for all your interactions. We're going to leave you with Neil.
Yeah, thanks, lads. Live stream coming to an end for this entire season. But, of course, don't forget the big event, the main event, wherever you normally get your TV Rallycross semi-finals and finals. You want to be there in just under an hour because it's all going to begin and see us through to the semi-finals and the final, the last round of the season. And as we hoped, it's never happened before. It's going to go down to at least the semis, probably the final, to crown our new champion. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks to Andrew Conley, Dan Rook, and the entire TV team. The Lions Head, the Peugeots have already got the Lions. They've got the team's championship. But who's going to be at the top of the table? We'll see you in a couple of hours.